Hi there, it's Krista here for Cancer's weekly reading. This is for Cancer Sun, Moon, and Rising for the week of April 15th to the 21st. So I did a little bit of a different reading last week. I'm going to switch it up this week for you, Cancer. We're doing a 5-card spread, central issue, external and internal influences, recent past, and probable outcome card. And then we'll call for 2 cards from the other decks here to clarify the messages for the week. And again, this is for Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. So links to all my social media and to my book are enclosed in the description box, but also there's a link to Always Astrology. If you don't already know your rising and moon sign, you can put your details in there and learn what those are. And then if you want additional messages, or if this isn't resonating well for you, you can check out those other signs that are your rising or moon and see if that helps for you. But they are general messages. So I really hope that these appeal to you, and whatever you're going through this week. So if there's health or travel or business or romance issues or things that are prominent in your world this week, just apply these to whatever is prominent in your world, Cancer. So we're looking at general messages for the sign of Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I wish for Cancers all success, joy, and wellness. I invoke spirits of love, light, and beauty. I call upon Archangels Michael, Gabriel, Metatron, and Uriel to guide this reading in peace, clarity, protection, and wisdom. I ask Gaia to bless this reading for Cancer. So what are the general messages for Cancer for the week of April 15th until the 21st? All right, so your central card, Cancer, is here and now. So this is something that, well, this doesn't play games. This means that you're in the moment and you're ready. You've come out of something and you feel though you've learned a lot from coming out of it. You're very aware of where you are right now in your situation, whatever, like I said, whatever that is. If it's business, personal health, romance. You know exactly where you are. You're not fooling yourself. You're not deceiving yourself. You're not letting yourself be deceived. You're perfectly aware. And you know that there are some decisions you need to make. So we're looking at to be fair in your probable outcome, and then chaos and conflict in your immediate past. So we're just looking for internal and external forces. So all that glitters is an external force. And then your internal force for you, Cancer, is mending, gorgeous. And at the bottom of the deck for general energy is deep knowing. My dear Cancers, you are no fool. No fool. We're looking at 7, wise, mystical, aware, maybe even more of a thinker than a feeler, but not unaware of your feelings, but you're an examiner of your feelings. So we're looking at 2 moons here and an L. So this is actually Cancer's card, so Cancerian card, and feminine. So the moon is feminine, it's water, so emotions, females or feminine energy, lots of wisdom. So much so that even if you are questioning something, it doesn't look like you're doing a whole lot of questioning here, but if you're aware of something and it hasn't been shown to you or said to you, you haven't been taught it, you don't even know where it comes from, but it's just this gnawing feeling or an intuition, go with it, because you're aware of something that there aren't even words for, and that maybe other people don't even recognize or understand right now. And then you might even not even be in a position to understand why you know it, and that could cause feelings of anxiety for you, even where you're a little bit shook. You're like, I feel this way, but, you know, I don't know why. I don't have any proof for it. Or, you know, I have this feeling or this intuition, but I don't know where it comes from. I wouldn't spend any time worrying about that. I would just say, I have this intuition or feeling, and then put a period at the end of that. Just, okay, just accept that and deal with that and be confident and comfortable with it, because it's not there to destroy you or hurt you or to lead you in the wrong direction. It's there because it belongs to you and it's very natural for you, and you ought not to be scared of that anymore. And that could mean anything from the way you handle money, other people, relationships, but also on a spiritual level. Spiritual relationships that you're encountering or enjoying or developing. You know, just rest assured you're exactly where you should be, and you needn't worry. And that your intuition is stronger than what perhaps hasn't been taught to you. Or if something has been taught to you and you have a different feeling about it or a different take on it, I would go with your feeling about it. So let's look at the spread itself in a little bit more depth. So we have Here and Now. Card 32 is number 5 in numerology. So we're looking at Jupiter, which is the planet of adventure, spirit, and free thinking. This is someplace where you belong because you've spent a lot of time making sure that you are aware of what's going on. You are no fool this week, Cancer. And you're coming out of chaos and conflict. Again, this could be relationships, business partners, or it could be internal. And I think from the general energy of the card here, Deep Knowing, I think this is something that's really internal for you. You know, internal meaning, you know, spiritually motivated or concept or idea motivated versus actual relationships or tangible things. So Here Now, it has this young girl with hearts all around her, and her flag says, you are here. You're very aware. You're very aware of where you've come from, what you had to do to get here, and where you are. And you're sitting pretty in the moment. You're on an egg, which is always the symbol of fertility. So happy Easter, by the way. And then you have past, in your past, of course, in your future. And how interesting that this is a central card. I just noticed this is literally pointing to what's behind you and what's ahead of you. And we'll look at To Be Fair in just a moment, but we're looking at either Libra, justice, judgment, or a scale, anything that has to do with balance. So the 2 posts here, and then you have this card with the scales. You have 2 masks here. You have 2 moons here, 2 individuals sewing here. So relationships of all sorts. And like I said, it could be a relationship with yourself or with your own well-being or with, you know, in the spirit world. Or being the moon and the number of the moon being feminine and involved with the intuitive self and, you know, the mystical, the psychic self. So don't discount that. Like I said, if you have feelings this week that you're supposed to be doing something, even though you were told not to, I don't mean, you know, like illegal, but if you were raised a certain way, or you were told, you know, don't pay attention to that, that doesn't make any sense, or there's only one way to do that. Anything like that that's occurring in your world right now, I think you are intuitively on a deep knowing level going, no, that's not right. That's one viewpoint. That's one way to look at it. But there is another way to approach this. And I'm in the moment. And it's more important for me to be in the moment. And, you know, let it be. You're not active here. You're perhaps even receptive. And receptivity is really a boon for you right now. I don't see a lot of action cards. So, you know, lay low with that feeling. If you don't feel like you should be making any, you know, major decisions or promises or putting things into action, like ideas into action, maybe just wait on it for the moment. And I'm just looking at some circular issues here. you're still going through a lot of healing and mending. And again, this is mainly occurring within, but it does have to do with exterior relationships. Very close familial relationships with other girls and women. It could be your mother, your sister, your daughter, best friend, or your inner child, I guess, or your inner self, the hurt child that you're still mending that relationship within. And never stop, really, seriously. So many of us most of us are brought up in a backwards world, right? This world is backwards. So we, all of us, all signs need to be aware of mending and healing, and that we're always in process of that. But it could be in particular that you're looking at whether or not you deserve something, or whether or not this is the path, this meaning, external happiness, where, you have bounty and fitting in even to certain social circles, or saying the right thing and being what other people need you to be. I think so. Let's look at this a little bit more closely for the time being. The All That Glitters is a 16, which is 7. So it can be a cold and calculating card, because this literally is a pile of gold with 2 gem encrusted crown masks on it. So just be aware of what kind of mask you're wearing and why this is happening in relationships. Again, even with yourself, if you're trying to, put the lid on something in your own life or own feelings, you're not going to reach nirvana by putting a lid on that. You are supposed to get to the bottom of your own feelings, but there could be a lot of draw or fantasy or desire for the outside world to make it better, so to speak, or to make all the problems go away, or to solve the problem somehow if you just have, fill in the blank, or if you just belong to fill in the blank. Like that's, this could be causing a circular problem for you that you keep revisiting. So please try not to get caught up in what other people think of you, and where people are telling you, or even yourself, your inner self, or your, the messages that your families have given you, or society's given you, that, where you belong, what you're supposed to be doing. This is saying, that draw may not be all that. And you might be deeply aware of this, and perhaps even be internally struggling about, well, what do I do with this now? How do I move forward? So it looks like in your recent past, there's been chaos and conflict. We're looking at 33, either in relationships or within your own heart. You might have been harder on yourself than you had to be, or you have old voices, patterns of behavior, concepts that have worked against you in the past that are creeping up again. So, you're doing a little bit of the pushback, and that's been something that you've had to contend with over the past week, but that's in your recent past, or is just going away. So you are coming out of something not so pleasant in terms of having reached this place. But it does feel like you're at a little bit of a standstill, and that you do need to trust about where you are about to go. And to be fair, again, is aligned with traditional tarot with Judgment, Justice, or the sign of Libra. So you might have a Libra around you, lots of wisdom, generally female energy. And she's got, interestingly, 2 different things on the scales here. She has a fortune cookie that says nope, and she's got a pearl on the other scale. So interesting, though, that the pearl can be considered a rare gem in the All That Glitters, and then the nope being what's behind you. What's behind you is already gone. That's not going to work for you. You, however, are all-knowing, so really trust in what is internally pulling at you, begging for you. it's a feeling or a concept. It's not something that you have to think too much about, and it's something that you're drawn to intuitively. So Cancer, I would watch for signs and symbols this week. And that can be anything from a color, a specific color gets your attention and you feel like you're cognizant in the here and now for this week. You're going to be really aware of things. You're going to be maybe even hyper aware of colors, smells, songs, and even animals or other symbols and signs in the world that speak to you in a very specific way this week that either didn't before or don't normally, or you wouldn't normally even pay attention to. And I would even say too that you have the ability this week to call for messages that you feel that you need, just to be aware that you don't have all the answers and you could use a little bit of guidance this week, and just to sit still. Don't stress, don't worry, don't push anything, but to be still, know that you're protected, but also that you know the answer already. I think you just need to relax and stop maybe pressing so much for what you think it is that you want in the external world, okay, in the natural world, in the world of the tangible world. If you're revisiting this over and over, like if money or even relationships or affiliations, that type of thing, just, you know what, let that be for the time being. I think this is going to play itself out over the next week, and you'll figure out where you belong or why you think you belong there better. So, Cancer, let's look for some additional messages from the Healing with the Angels Oracle. Looking for additional messages for Cancer for the week of April 15th to April 21st. Some additional messages for Cancer. Overall, listen, this is not a negative or overwhelming or stressful reading at all. This is just something that I think people have made fun of all our lives. I mean, this is a backward planet, right? It's the planet isn't backward. The way that we're taught and raised, and everything's upside down. So we're taught, distrust our instincts, distrust our senses, even. Logic reigns. Well, logic can do a lot of things, but it can't get to the heart of the matter. Logic doesn't dictate faith either. So I would trust yourself this week and really believe in yourself this week. And this is lovely too. This is emerging as an additional message for you. So this is you coming into your own, Cancer. And this is so beautiful next to the central card, the here and now. They're both young girls. They're both perhaps even involved in the mending process, the continued mending process, because ultimately what we express in the world is what we feel and experience within. So keep doing the hard work, the gentle and generous work of mending your own personal relationship with yourself by yourself, because it will be expressed in the outer world, and you'll ultimately be able to help teach other people do it too, which is one of the most beautiful things in the world in learning any skill, any coping skill, is that whoever asks how to do it, you can say, oh, listen, I don't have all the answers, but I know how to do that. I can help you do that. So it's a tremendous gift. And I think, Cancer, that you're aware of this as well. I think you're aware that you are, without trying to use the word ascension, but I can't help it. You're growing. You're ascending into something you were meant to be. You're becoming more confident in yourself and what you're able to give because of where you've been and what you've seen and what you've gone through and how you've dealt with it. And remarkably, but at the same time, at no surprise. It's something that you've always known, and it's something that you've always been. It's just in a backwards world, we're taught that this is wrong, or we're taught that not to rely on it or trust it, or it doesn't work that way. The world doesn't work that way. Well, you know what? It does. It does work that way. Emotions create reality, and thoughts create emotions. And I think you're highly aware of this if you haven't been before, and you're using it. This is the beautiful thing about emerging. You're not only aware of this truth, you're using it. So good on you, Cancer, for trusting your instincts. And let's look at one more additional messages. A message from the Medicine Tarot. Any additional messages for Cancer for the week of March 15th to the 21st? Additional messages. You might even be feeling, another way to put this, Cancer, in a really succinct way, is that you're feeling really psychic this week. And how beautiful too. Like, look at all the Cancer energy here, all the moon, female healing energy here. So moons, and then the original symbol for the sign of Cancer was a turtle. The turtle is also one of the major and original symbols of the entire universe, that the whole planet rested on the back of a turtle, or a turtle that was on elephants. So really more female symbology to consider. Very protective with the outer shell. So this is you, very distinctly Cancer, and the number 10, which is also the number 1, which is the self, and also new beginnings. And I'm just going to look up the key word. I don't have that off the top of my head. So the key word for turtle, let's just see what the authors said about that. Mother Earth. Wow. There you go. Not a huge surprise. You are feeling centralized, central, centered, in the middle of everything, but not stressed by it. In fact, this is your moment. You are emerging where you're supposed to be. You're here and now. You're confident here. And you have a deep appreciation and knowing for where you are. And you make no bones about it and no apologies for it. So good for you, Cancer. Sorry this got way longer than I wanted it to. Just a beautiful reading, though. Trust yourself. Your instincts are on target. Stay psychic. Don't let the bastards bring you down, and keep being your beautiful self. And I will see you next week. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I will see you next week. Take good care of yourself. Bye, Cancer.